blast off. There it is. Okay.
All right.
You know what you're doing as far as giveaways, right?
No.
No?
No.
What are you giving away for the viewer appreciation?
We didn't talk about it. So viewer appreciation, I'm going to give away
I could go back to grips.
Okay.
Have Paul Stannard send some grips.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah.
All right. And
what's it worth?
What's it worth? Stickers.
Okay.
Okay? And just like that, it's 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm good.
All right?
Yep.
I love you. Thanks. Bye.
Love you. Bye.
I'm Dave Arnold. You're watching Vintage Motocross Q&A with Joe Abbate. We'll be right back.
Buenos dias, muchachos. Mia Giuseppe Abbate, the Vintage Motocross Q&A. Bienvenido.
Oh, you want me to translate?
No. Good evening, everyone. I am Joe Abbate, and you are watching Vintage Motocross Q&A. Thank you for joining me tonight. The lovely Susie is on board. Susie, look at her, how photogenic my beautiful wife is. How's everything going there? Going good? Say something.
Oh, are you talking to me?
Oh, who am I talking to?
Well, I thought you were talking to your viewers.
Yeah, like you give me that Robert De Niro thing. Oh, you're talking to
Are
me?
you talking to me? I'm good.
Okay. And tonight's giveaways are for the viewer appreciation.
We have grips.
Right.
And then what's it worth with stickers?
Okay.
Okay.
If there's anybody out there who I've promised something to, stickers, a poster, anything, please let me know. Because sometimes Susie writes it down. We get done with the show. We go in the house and sometimes it slips through the cracks. Okay. But if I owe you something, I want to make sure you get it. So make sure you let me know. I think I've got a poster and some stickers from last week yet. All right. Either way, you will get it. I promise you that. Whether you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, please continue to share the show. Let other people know you're enjoying Vintage Motocross Q&A. If you want to get your name on the backdrop just like this, you could do that for just $49.95 a month. And while I'm thinking about that, I want to tell you about our latest supporter, Fred Beaver. Fred Beaver, thank you so much for being a supporter of the show. You do have a shirt, a poster, and an apron on the way, just like I promised everybody right here. See that? You get a poster like that from Racer X. You also get a shirt of your choice of color, black, yellow, or gray, in whatever design you want, the Vintage Motocross Q&A design or our famous Kurt Evan Tune design. And you also get an apron to keep it clean.
Yeah.
Paul Parkinson Sr., thanks so much for being a sponsor of Vintage Motocross Q&A with all of your fabulous reproduction parts for Honda, Suzuki, Yamaha, Kawasaki, and so many more. We're going to be talking more with Paul in the very, very near future about what is happening there at replicamotorcycleparts.com. Now, last week we had a video on the show from Roy, and it was absolutely excellent. It was on why you may want to consider replating your cylinder that has not been plated before. And there's a lot to do with cooling. There's a lot to do with lubrication on that and so much more. Now, Roy sent in another video. It's a little longer. In fact, it's a little bit too long for the show. I'm going to run 5 or 6 minutes of it here, and then we'll get on with the rest of it. But if you saw last week's show, well, let's forget that. If you saw it, you saw it. You know what I'm talking about. If not, I am going to post both videos on the Vintage Motocross Q&A page right after we do the show tonight. I didn't want to put it up before I actually ran it on the show. So let's get a look at Roy's further information, and it's really, really good stuff on why you might want to consider plating a cylinder. Roy?
Hello, I'm Roy Vanderveer and welcome to my two-stroke pro shop. Recently, I overheard some friends of mine talking about Nicosil cylinders, whether to plate or not to plate, how to tell whether your cylinder is plated or not in the first place. And I thought I'd just take a quick few minutes and go over how you can identify first whether you need to be replated or not, because this little cylinder that I've got here is given plenty of evidence right above the exhaust port. That worn area that's light in color is known as an eyebrow, and that's a high wear area on any two-stroke cylinder, and that has worn the plating off that area. And then in this corner over here, you can even see where the plating has started to flake off. So without question, this cylinder needs to be replated. Then the next part of this little mission is how to know if your cylinder is plated or not. Well, the easiest way to tell is simply put a magnet on the bore. If the magnet sticks, it's steel. If the magnet falls off, it's plated. So that's absolute. Of course, you can usually see the liner, but if you want to give it the acid test, a magnet will tell you every time. Then there was another question that I overheard. People wondering, well, should I plate or should I sleeve? Should I do this or should I do that? And the answer is very, very simple. If it was plated when it was new, it needs to be replated because the cooling fin area is set up to release the heat that's generated in a plated cylinder. These give up heat really quick. Cylinders with iron liners retain a lot more heat. Now, this is a KX80, this is a YZ100, but it's 20 cc's different, but look at the difference in cooling fin area. It's not the perfect, for example. If you put a sleeve in this cylinder, it's never going to adequately be able to cool. And if we look a little bit closer on the back side of the cylinder, we can even see damage opposite the damage above the exhaust port, because that extra clearance was allowing the piston to rock really heavily in the bore, and the intake skirt was just wiping the oil right off the back side of the cylinder, which caused it's not quite a seizure, but it's like like it scored the piston and it scored the cylinder. This engine never stopped running. It was just woefully low on compression. And this is just a view from the bottom, so you can see the massive difference in cooling fin area between these two cylinders. They're only 20 cc's apart, but that 100 has a lot more cooling fin, and it's because of the iron liner. So with that, we are off to see the plater. Okay, here we go. This is the first time ever that I have unboxed anything on video. So let's have an unboxing of the cylinder that I sent off to Power Seal USA to have replated. We're working on a 1981 KDX80 here, and the main bearings were bad and the main seals were bad, and there was no, oh, and the plating was worn off the bore as well. So there was no way around it. Everything had to be rebuilt. So about 4 weeks ago, I dropped this off at Power Seal, and I just got it back. And we've got, let's see what we've got in the box. We've got our invoice. Okay, we don't need that. We've got our instructions, and we do need that, and we're going to go over these instructions in detail. And then here's my better than brand new 1981 KDX80 cylinder. Now, when this went off to them, the first thing you'll notice when you get a cylinder back, this cylinder was black and all the paint's been removed. This is necessary because in order to get the old plating off, that has to be done in an acid bath. You cannot bore this stuff off. The only thing harder than Nicosil is diamond. And that's they use diamond hones to hone it. So you're going to lose whatever color is on there. Sometimes that's a great thing. And with this bike, this was a black cylinder. I think I'm going to be just fine leaving it just the way it is. And during some of the plating process, it seems that even some of the Nicosil kind of gets everywhere, which closes up any little pores that dirt tends to stick in on the outside of the cylinder. So it even remains fairly impervious to dirt. And try to get a good, I don't have the right light. We might have to adjust and come back because, man, it looks so good in there. You cannot buy a new cylinder for these.
All right. I hate to have to cut Roy off at that point, but we did about 10 minutes of the Roy video. It does go on for at least another 7 minutes, and the information he gave so far has been excellent. And I can assure you, I've watched it several times. It's just as good as it gets to the end. In fact, it gets really a whole lot better, if you can imagine that. But anyway, right now I want to thank Roy Vanderveer and remind everyone else that at the end of the show, I will post again that video in its entirety and the one that you maybe missed the week before. Okay. Bear with me 1 second here. Okay. Anyway, yeah, I wanted to thank Arma for being a sponsor of that segment. The next time, try this segment. And we're going to move on right now with the Moto Showcase. The Moto Showcase is brought to you by Preston Petty Products. Be sure to visit them online at PrestonPettyProducts.com. And let's remember, Preston Petty Products are now made in the United States of America. All the molds are here. Paul Stannard and Patty Stannard, I mean, they were born here. So, I mean, that's like really made in America, right? Either way, Preston Petty Products legend continues thanks to Paul and Patty Stannard. Tonight, our Moto Showcase bike was sent in to us by Jeremy Gross. Jeremy Gross sent us a beautiful Yamaha YZ250. It is a 1980. Let's get on with what Jeremy wrote to us, and I will shuffle through these pictures. Hey, Joe, hope all is well in your world. I've owned this bike from around 13 years old till I was 18, at which time I needed money and I sold it. Fast forward around 5 years ago, my wife's uncle passed away, and his wife told me that there was some old dirt bike in the barn that I could have, and if I wanted it, I can have it. Just go get it. I drove 80 miles to get the bike, and I couldn't believe it was my old bike that I had when I was a kid. That is absolutely an incredible story. I finally got around to restoring it a few months back. All the work from the plating to the zinc and the spokes and all the bolts were done by myself, as well as all of the paint and the engine work too. I blasted the frame and painted it with 2K paint, blasted the hubs and painted them with VHT satin paint, as well as a 2K satin clear. I blasted the cases, painted those with 2K satin black. I bored the cylinder 50 over, and I rebuilt the crank with the Pro X rod kit. All of the bearings, seals, and clutches were replaced in the engine. I vapor blasted all of the parts, including the rear shock, and I rebuilt that with all new seals and new bumpers. For the forks, I put them in my lathe. And to remove the deep scratches per your video from your tips and tricks, then replace the seals and the bushings here. The plastic is from VMX, and it has a new old stock rear fender and a new stock 81 front fender. I just like to look at the newer fender more here. I just like the look of the newer fender more here. I understand that. The pipe is a new DG unit, and the silencer I built myself, and I like the way it looks. It certainly does look really cool. I hope you like the look of the bike. I couldn't have done it without all of your tips from your show. You have no idea how much you helped me. Jeremy Gross, thank you so much for the kind words, and you have done an exceptional job on the bike. There's cylinder or the silencer that you were talking about just a moment ago, and you just did a beautiful job on this bike. And I agree about the fenders, and look at the fork boots that are so prevalent at that time. They did look a little bit different than anything else that was out there. You got the correct style font on the number, and there's just nothing that I can see on this bike that just doesn't look absolutely fantastic. And yeah, I'm going to puff out my chest a little bit because you said I helped out with all the tips that I gave you here on the show. I like to hear that whenever I can. Right now, we are going to take a short break, and we will be right back.
Hi, I'm Steve Simons. You're watching Vintage Motocross Q&A.
Hi, I'm Paul Parkinson with Replica Motorcycle Parts. I'm sitting here with our test bike, which is ridden by Jerry Maddox. It carries the #1 plate in the U.S. Let's go over a couple of the parts that we've got on here. We've got our ignition cover with the case saver built into it, so that when the chain comes off, you're not damaging your cases. Spacer, foot pegs. Jerry runs our air box. Seat brackets, keeps the seat on tight so he doesn't fall off when he's going over the whoops. And then on this side, Jerry runs a couple little things, a lot of little rubber parts on the bike and that stuff are all done by us. And then down here we've got our brake pedal, which has got needle bearings in there, and then it's got a wider toe peg so it gives them a real nice, clean, easy to use brake. And then this is our latest part. This is a CR250 type knuckle. In fact, Honda used them on the last versions of the MR175, and this is a real trick aluminum Kickstarter arm. So that gives them lightweight, strength, and reliability more than anything else. Reliability.
I've got a question here from Tony Reynolds, and it kind of is part of the show. So let me see how I could do this. Wow. Imagine that modern technology. Joe, has anyone ever sent you an aluminum gas tank that was so damaged to the point that you just couldn't do anything with it? I have had people send me gas tanks where they're not aware that the tank is bloated. It's just bloated a little bit like an Elsinore tank, and they don't really know. They've never seen one before. So they'll send it to me, and I'll ask them one of two things. Is it a race bike? Yes. Did you take it off the frame of the bike? Yes. That means it will fit back on the bike? Yes. Then I'm going to restore this tank for you. I'm going to make it a race bike tank. As far as other tanks that look that are so seriously damaged, when they send me pictures, Tony, when they send me pictures, I can tell. And in some instances, I will ask them, is this a tank from your bike when you were a kid? Does this tank really mean something to you? Yes, it does. Well, then you should have it back on the bike, but this is how much it's going to cost you. If the answer is no, and it's not that important to them, and it looks like it's been hit by a train, I tell them, go find a better tank. Mm-hmm. Go find a better tank. I'll fix it for less money. It's that simple. And with my technique now with fixing tanks, and Daryl Dickerson from Current Fabrication in Tracy doing all my welding, and Brian Fedigan, who's painted my tanks for 20 years, I've got it down pretty much to where I can do all the metal work for under $1,000. And I've done them for, I'll tell you what, I did one for Gary Montminy. I did a Kawasaki tank for him at one dent, $295. Okay? I've got my pencil sharp. I've got all the tools ready. Yeah, by the time you get done shipping and painting and stickers, you might be in for $1,400, $1,500. But Uncle Joe's only charging $1,000 to get all the ugly out of it. Can't beat that, can you? And more oftentimes less. Recently, I've had people, and I don't want to carry on too much with this. I've had Chris Arp sent me 2. Curtis Arp sent me 2. Alan Popovich sent me 2. Mike Husted, since October, sent me 4 tanks. Tim Whitehouse sent me like at least 3 in the past 4 months and 5 in the last year. Yeah. I must be doing something right. Okay? So thanks, everybody, for that help and for sending in the question, Tony, who I owe you something, I think a poster or something.
Yeah, it'll go out tomorrow.
You yell at Susie. Call here. I'll give you the number.
It's my fault. I take full responsibility.
Okay. Let's get on with the show. What do we got next here? Here's the problem segment brought to you by Motion Pro. Be sure to visit them online at motionpro.com. Hey, Paul Griffin, Mako Mo in the Mako Minute. I want you to come back on the show. I know you've been busy with the Mecum auction and some other cool stuff, but get some videos together, Paul. And tonight in the What's It Worth segment, I have one of your bikes featured. Okay. Here's the problem. Motion Pro. Here's the first question. It's from Tony. It's from Richard Lotz. He's got a 74 Suzuki, 76 RM250 engine and a 78 frame. Can or should I be using a non-resistor spark plug cap and a non-resistor plug simultaneously? One school of thought is that doing so will not affect any of these early CDI boxes and provide a stronger spark. Another says it's not worth it, and the risk was interference waves affecting the CDI boxes. And to go with a resistor spark plug cap and a non-resistor plug, or vice versa. What are your thoughts? I'm sure this applies to many, many 70s bikes. It does. You're going to cancel everything out. Do what the factory did. If you have a resistor plug, which you don't in a bike that's 48 years old, then, use a regular plug that came in the bike. And if you have a resistor cap, use that as well. As you can see right here, when you use resistor plugs, if your spark plug cap is standard non-resistor type, or if your bike has modern electronic ignition, use a resistor plug to protect the electronics. Okay? Don't do both. You're gonna have double resistance. You don't want double resistance, do you? I don't think you do. All right. I hope that sheds a little light. I mean, I don't even know where you came up with that, Rich. I know it's cold there in Ohio, but come on. Ben Thomas, Vintage Mini Bike Lovers on Facebook. Joe, I love the show. My question is, what's the best way to remove rust from fork legs that are pitted but not badly? Let me tell you something. You can remove rust. You can remove rust with something like WD-40, Coca-Cola. You could soak it in baking soda. You could put it in, what is that stuff, people? Drano. I mean, there's a lot of things that'll take rust off, including plain old polishing on a polishing wheel with a buffing compound. Your problem is not rust. Your problem is pitting. Pitting. It is the pits. You can get all the rust off. You're still going to run your nail over it. You're still going to feel a hole. Oil is still going to shoot out of that when it goes by the seal. You're going to ruin the seal, and oil is still going to come out. There's no shortcut to fixing pits in forks, unless you have, let's say, and I've heard of this and I've seen it. You're in a race. A rock hits your fork, and the hard chrome can't even take the blow. Puts a little nick in it. But the rest of the tubes are beautiful. You sand it down a little bit, you get the edge off. You use either lab metal or an epoxy and fill it in. Then you take it down again, little by little, with wet or dry paper until you run your finger over it and it is smooth as silk. You can't even tell it's there. You could do that on one nick. I've heard, and don't quote me on this, I have heard people of having a pit like that and putting crazy glue in there and sanding it down. I don't know about that. Crazy glue, the name fits. But lab metal I've heard of, and I have heard of brazing and sanding it down. It's unsightly, but you can do it. But if you're looking to have a set of forks that you're going to be using that you want reliable and not have oil pissing all over the front of your bike, well, then get it fixed right, get it fixed once, okay? Guess what I was? Boy, was I wrong on that.
What one?
Last week on the trivia contest, I said that Pierre Karsmakers was really the first 250. Well, come on, where's the picture? There it is. First 250 champ in 1974. I don't know what I was thinking, man. I really don't. And let's get this straight. He was born in 46. He did win titles in his native Holland, 67, 69, and 71. He did not win the inaugural 250 national championship. Gary Jones did. What did Pierre win? In 73, he won the 500cc national championship in America, and he was not an American. There is the Karsmakers rule. I'm not going to run through all of this, but the AMA responded to controversy surrounding Karsmakers by implementing a new rule for 74 season starting that foreign riders must be a resident of the USA for at least 2 years before they are eligible to earn points in American national championships. Therefore, yes, Joe was wrong.
Well, so,
Gary Jones was the national champion.
So who called in and said Gary Jones? Or
I think it was Jeff Bailey or somebody else. No, somebody typed in it was Gary Jones.
No, I got phone calls. Oh, okay. You know what? Jerry Maddox.
Jerry Maddox?
He said it was Gary Jones.
It was Gary Jones.
And
I was wrong.
And you were wrong. Wow.
All right. And when I'm wrong, I'll take the heat.
Well,
and boy, was I wrong on that.
Wow.
So Karsmakers, 73 500cc national champion, sort of. They changed the rule after that.
somebody else called in with that answer too.
They did?
Yep.
All right. Where are we going with this? We are going to, you know what? I'm going to take a little commercial break and we will be back with, now here's what we're going to do. We're going to run the Dave's Classic Corner. All right. Dave Boydston, he was at the Mecum auction this past week, Dave's Classic Corner. Be sure to follow Dave on Facebook under his personal page. But if you're looking for parts and you're looking for bikes, go to amsracing.com. Dave has been at it just about longer than anybody, formerly a professional racer, owner of a lot of bikes, a lot of great parts, and puts on a wonderful series, the Arizona Vintage Series, throughout the winter. Now, I want to run this video that Dave sent me. It's short, but it's kind of cool. Check this
Okay,
out.
just looks like some old dirt bike. Well, it is an old dirt bike. But Bud Eakin's brother Dave Eakins raced this bike. And there's proof of results, pictures, everything. I was just looking at it, realized it had a CZ front hub, and then I looked at it closer and realized that's a twin port hub with a backing plate that I looked forever for that backing plate. Those are Avon tires on this thing. 1965. $250cc. Yep. British hub company, rear hub. Pretty standard on Rickman's at that time. And it was even color. Someone repainted it, but this is the color it was in the article. You could tell by the pinstriping and stuff. That's a rare piece, a one of one. One of one.
According to Dave Boydston, and I would take him at face value any day. Dave, a very, very knowledgeable guy. Let us move on now with What's It Worth? This is the segment of the show where we ask you, the viewers at home, to guess how much this bike recently sold for. This section or segment of the show is brought to you by Full Circle Racing. Thank you, Tom McAllister, for all you do for us here at Vintage Motocross Q&A. Now, this bike was at the Mecum auction last week. It belongs to Paul Griffin, Mako Mo. He sometimes does segments on our show. Really cool stuff on Mako's extremely knowledgeable guy. This bike, check this out. Mako was in the crate till 2024, discovered its original cardboard Mako box. It was never ridden. It's got 0 hours. Highly original condition OEM plastic sourced by Mako Mo. I'm not sure what that actually means. NOS fork dirt stock panels by M Rubber fenders, verified OEM fasteners and parts, whereas its original stock Metzler tires were mounted in Germany in 1976. Now, when I said about the OEM plastics sourced by Mako Mo, I mean, you are Mako Mo, Paul. So, and you say that you claim the bike is all original. I mean, it could be possible the bike had not so nice fenders on it, and you put NOS fenders, and I think you've been forthcoming with that. They looked, if you didn't say it, I would not know. So now this is the segment of the show where you, the viewers at home, guess how much you think this bike recently sold for. Let's remember, it is an auction environment. Look at the detail and how original this bike really is. Look above that pipe. Look at that kickstand. Thing's like 3 feet long. All right. By the looks of these cases, everything looks original to me. Doesn't look like it's been vapor blasted. Certainly not sandblasted. The brake pedal shows no signs of wear. In my pictures that I saw, the grain of the seat looked perfect. So did the logo. As far as the rubber grommets and everything else, the fit was absolutely beautiful on the bike. And the front plate right here, you can see is held on by that thick rubber. It's not an O-ring. It's got 2 O-rings on the end of a one-piece rubber band. And then it's got those 2 steel plates that, or steel pins that go through the front to hold it on. Right here, the tail of the tape. Check out this wear block on the swing arm where the chain goes across. I don't see any wear on that thing at all. What else do we have here? Got the correct spark plugs in there, the correct wiring. Another good shot, 3/4 shot from the back. I love the side plates. I like the plastic screws that are in the side covers. The tank is absolutely flawless. The silencer with the little screws in the back that's got the cap with the removable baffle in there. I mean, just an impeccable motorcycle. This is a 1976 new old stock Mako MC250. What do you think that bad boy fetched at the auction last week? Type in your comments And Susie is going to be looking them over. I will be looking them over, and we will find out who gets closest without going over. In the meantime, we're going to take a short commercial break. When we come back, we will announce who the winner was of the What's It Worth segment.
Hi, I'm Sue Fish. You are watching Vintage Motocross Q&A. We'll be right back.
Motocross struck America, coming from Europe like a lightning bolt, striking the hearts and minds of people all across the country and the world. Battles of intense racing and cutting rivalries with loyalty to brands and heroes intensified as years of blood, sweat, and dirt flew through the minds of those memories of champions as they wrestled their machines through almost impossible tracks. But where are those past champions? And where are their bikes? Terry Good, an ex-pro motocross racer, has made it his life mission to honor these heroes and the bikes they rode to stardom. We raced, we rode, we lived and breathed motocross. Go back in time and relive those moments, now preserved for the first time ever in the world's first museum dedicated to the history of motocross. Our new building is in the gate. Help us get a great start and you can be part of history. Go to internationalmotocrossmuseum.org and become a part of our team.
The International Motocross Museum is a not-for-profit 501c3 organization. Be sure to visit them online at internationalmotocrossmuseum.org. Continue to make your donations. And if you want to donate a bike or any memorabilia to the International Motocross Museum, it is a 501c3 organization, which means that it is 100% tax deductible. Now, I jumped the gate a little bit a moment ago. I usually give the price of the bike so then people can guess. I see some of them have guessed. Now, the bike sold for $13,300. Okay, $13,300, and
Eric Weiss.
I saw 15.5, 14.5 from 14,000 from
Gig.
Banana Brooks.
Gig.
I see Gig Hagad at 13.5.
Yeah.
Oh, Alan Huey at 13.8.
Ooh.
Eight.
Richard Lotz at 13,299.
Lot said 13,299.
Yeah.
He's a cheater, I think.
But
Well, he's right on the money though.
No, Gig Haddad is. Didn't you say 13?
No, Gig Hagad said 13.8 or something. Wait, let me look. Let me look.
He said 13.5.
13.5. And the bike went for 13.3.
Oh, 3. Richard Lotz.
Now, I could say plus 10% and he would be, well,
No.
all right, let's not do that.
Richard Lotz.
Richard Lotz, you win 2 stickers from Vintage Motocross Q&A at $13,299. I got to make this more difficult somehow. All right? All right, we got to get back to it. Where was I? International Motocross. I got a big announcement coming up about the International Motocross Museum in just a minute. But you know who I don't want to forget this week?
Who?
My dear friend Russell Waters at AMSOIL, who gives us plenty of oil and wonderful products here at Vintage Motocross Q&A, and he has done so for years. But you know what? You can get a great deal too. 20% off AMSOIL products. All you have to do is go to theoilpeople.shopamsoil.com, and you can buy directly from Russell Waters. That's theoilpeople.shopamsoil.com. And Russell also has Castrol now. Remember how that stuff smelled in the 70s when you mix that up with some Sunoco 110? Woo! It smelled so good. All right? All right. What else we got? Oh, did you know? Did you know segment usually done by Jeff Kokoski. Jeff is handling some personal matters in his life and has taken a little personal time off, but assured me, and I spoke to him in a message, I think it was this morning or yesterday. I don't know. The days just go into the nights with me lately. And he will be back shortly. But in the meantime, Charles Madison has a did you know? And this is really something cool. All right? Did you know? Joe, do you know that Honda, in fact, Soichiro Honda, made an engine called a Cubby? It was designed and engineered at Honda by Soichiro himself in 1961 to be used in as a teaching instrument for Honda dealers as they launched the new Honda set to arrive in Europe and the USA. Rumor is only 400 of these were assembled and sold as kits, both red and silver colors. The total production numbers are a little bit fuzzy at this time. They were running four-stroke engines that would also run several other functions as well. There was a water pump that would bolt onto it, a blower like a mini leaf blower, a gear reduction system, and an electrical generator as well. They're quite rare, and most were taken apart so many times parts were lost, etc. Most Cubbies you find today are missing some of the major parts. This reminds me of the late Ron Carbo, who was with Honda for many, many years, and I remember him having one of these engines. This was given to the Honda factory tech back in 1962 and apparently never used. It retains all of the original tool spares, tool bag, and oilers. It is one of about 6 that are still NOS that are known. Also, I was lucky enough to buy his father's old Honda dealer samples from him from the same year, 1962. One of the very first Honda generators was ever made. Also, a 4-stroke gas with a little pull start engine that also basically is NOS. Check that thing out. Guy's holding it right in his hand.
Pretty cool.
Very cool. It's original. Just enough to power to run to small ratios and the first micro televisions that Sony invented. Feel free to use any of this info on your pictures, etc. You know what? I want to thank you, Charles Madison. You have sent me many gas tanks in the past, and you sent this really great Did You Know segment in right when we needed it, right when Jeff was still in the middle of taking care of a few things. And you sent it over last night, and I am very, very grateful to you, Charles Madison. Okay? What else do we have going on here? Is it time for Susie to do the announcements already?
No.
Why not?
Oh, it is? Really?
Oh, you know what?
No.
I wanted to say something before the announcements actually went on. It is an announcement, but I wanted to make it part of the International Motocross Museum.
Oh.
And here it is right here. This was posted today by Terry Good, and I was also on the phone with Terry early this morning. He has a meeting next week with the people who are in control of this building, mostly to discuss the purchase details and transfer time. The hope is to take partial possession has already been realized. We have been moving stuff over there, but due to the frigid weather, it's been crawling at a snail's pace lately. Overall, it is so nice to be working with longtime friends in this huge undertaking and provide a large runway to land on. Remember, this is not a big garage. It is a full-fledged 100,000 square foot commercial building. It will be dedicated to one thing, motocross history. Thanks to all who have supported this and their donations. Every penny that was sent goes toward making this a reality. We still have tremendous expenses ahead of us, so every bit of your donation helps. If you go to the International Motocross Museum page, you'll see a link right there to internationalmotocrossmuseum.org/donate, and you could do that. So yeah, we are getting closer, and there is stuff going into the building. And I had a discussion with Terry Good this morning about me coming out there with Susie once the weather breaks, because I'm not going to Chicago in February. I'll tell you that right now. But I will go out there in April, May, and Susie and I have been looking at real estate for quite some time in the Chicago area. So if this thing does happen, I have an idea what we're going to do, where we're going to go, and how it's all going to shake out. Okay? Let's move on to This Week in Motocross History, which is brought to you by Racer X, and then we'll get over to Susie with the announcements. It was Team Honda, Ricky Johnson. In 1989, he wins the opening night of the Seattle Kingdom doubleheader and the onset of what will be his last great run as a professional. Suzuki's Ron Tischner finishes a career best second place. The 20th place finisher is a Texas privateer named Danny Storbeck. He's the rider that will later on tangle with Johnson at the Gatorback National at the end to end Johnson's hot streak for the 7-time national champion, and inadvertently began the downside of RJ's career. The rider who will benefit the most from the looming run in between Johnson and Storbeck, RJ's Honda understudies, Jeff Stanton and John Michelle Bell. John Michelle Bale. He will finish 4th and 5th, respectively. You know, I hate to tell that story. I don't know Danny Storbeck. I don't know so much that he ever said sorry to Ricky Johnson. But it always seems that when people do talk about Ricky Johnson's amazing career, which was cut short, Danny's name is always brought up. You know, it's kind of like to talk about John Lennon, and then you got to talk about the name of his assassin. It's like that. Anyway, it is part of history. It is what happened, and it was unfortunate. Am I out of commercials? I'm going to run. No, we're going to do announcements. Then I'm going to do. No, then I'm not going to do anything. We're going to do announcements. Susie's going to do them, right?
I'm going to do them. You haven't told people that I do T-shirts in a while either.
Look at the camera. How come I can't see you? What happened?
I don't know.
Stay where you are. Yeah, we'll talk about Susie making T-shirts and hats and aprons and all that good stuff.
What happened?
I don't know. I have to be a sound man, a grip. Let me know when you can say.
Good. Stop. Yeah. All right. I'm going to go on.
You're good?
Yeah. I have announcements.
You hit it. Oh, don't hit it. I got to change the slides when you talk.
Oh.
All right.
Okay. You ready?
Yeah. Here's Joe Abbate with the announcements.
In what has become the premier event in NorCal, the CZ World Championship returns this year for 3 days in April. You don't have a date?
Yeah, they're right there on that flyer.
Oh, it's not on my paper. Anyway.
The 24th, 25th, and 26th.
Okay. Missouri Vintage Riders have their new schedule up for 2026 with races beginning on March 28th. The big news right now is that all ARMA regional groups have posted their schedules for the 2026 season. Check out their website on Facebook or Facebook pages. The national schedule is up too, with racing beginning as early as March. Stay tuned for when the next Hodaka Days happens too. ARMA's Northwest Series schedule is up with races beginning in March. The Northeast Premier Vintage MX Club American Classic Racing has their schedule up, and it includes the legendary Unadilla Rewind this summer. Sponsorship opportunities are available for only $249.99 per month. Reach over 1 million viewers every 30 days. Back at you, Joe.
Thank you, Sue.
You're welcome.
You did a beautiful job, and I want to tell everybody what a lucky guy I am, because today when I was working in my garage on the show and on gas tanks and doing other things, and I guess it was probably about 4 o'clock, the most beautiful aroma came into my garage, a scent that is indescribable. No, not Susie's perfume. It was fresh baked bread in my oven.
Yes.
It smelled so good, and we will be having that with dinner tonight.
Yes.
Well, I think that about wraps it up for this week's episode of Vintage Motocross Q&A.
Oh, let me get Gino.
Wait a minute now. You know what?
What?
I mean, what's right is right. And you know what I didn't do?
No.
I didn't do the commercial for Full Circle Racing.
Oh.
So let's do that, and then we'll get Gino.
I get asked often, what's the most important thing on Clunker? Answer simple, it's me. That's why I use Full Circle Racing wheels prepped by Tom McCallister. So should you. Watch this and learn why. When racing vintage motocross where suspension is very limited, your wheels can be the difference between winning or serious injury. We chose to run Full Circle Racing wheels because of the super high quality materials and the heavy duty spokes used. Prepped by Tom McCallister, I have the confidence on the track to push way harder through the rough stuff and the bigger jumps, knowing my wheels are going to stay under me. Hey, Clunker may be 50 years old, but his wheels are brand new, and yours should be too. Call Tom McCallister at Full Circle Racing today.
That wraps it up for Vintage Motocross Q&A. I am your host, Joe Abbate. How come I'm not on full screen? There it is. Gino! Come on, Gino. Come on. Come on. Come on. Oh, I think he's getting a little old. He can't make it up anymore.
Oh, my dad.
Come on, Gene. Come on. Oh, there it is. You could make it up, I guess. Okay, there it is. All right, Jeansy. You ready? Good night, everybody. Thank you for watching Vintage Motocross Q&A. We'll see you next time.